To one of the key takeaways from Robert Mueller's testimony, the former special counsel highlighting Russian election interference efforts are real and ongoing. The concerns clearly not, however, resonating with the president. Here's a look at two narratives coming out of those hearings.
Over the course of my career, I have seen a number of challenges to our democracy. The Russian government's efforts to interfere in our election is among the most serious.
This was all a big hoax.
That was not a hoax.
Director, who did the Russian social media campaign ultimately intend to benefit? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
This witch hunt that's been going on for a long time.
I love reading those WikiLeaks. Donald Trump, do any of those quotes disturb you?
Problematic is an understatement.
WikiLeaks is a hoax just like everything else.
Knowingly accepting foreign assistance during a presidential campaign is an unethical thing to do.
And a crime.
We did nothing wrong.
Joining me now is Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright, former senior advisor to Hillary Clinton's campaign in South Carolina, and Boston Herald radio host Adriana Cohen, also a nationally syndicated columnist. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
All right,
Good
Adriana,
morning.
I want to start with you. President Trump, he could have used this as an opportunity to take a stand against Russian election interference going into 2020, election that will clearly impact him directly. Why did he not do that?
Well, because he's been the target of a massive fraud. I mean, the Democrats for the past 3 years, have gone on every television station, and media claiming that his campaign had colluded with Russia. They committed treason and did all these horrible things to, impact the 2016 election in his favor, and that turned out to be patently false.
That's not
even
true, Adriana.
The special counsel, after a 22-month thorough investigation, they blew through at least $40 million. They turned over every stone, and they found no collusion. There was insufficient evidence of Russian collusion with the campaign.
Hold on, Adriana. I appreciate what you're trying to say here. First of all, Mueller did not exonerate the president. And second of all, that wasn't my original question, so I'd like to give you another go at it. Why does he not tackle Russian interference and global interference in our democracy, which in a lot of people's view is actually a nonpartisan issue, something that maybe a lot of people can agree on?
Well, I think he's frustrated because he was the target of this whole Russian collusion conspiracy pushed forward by Democrats that turned out to be false. So that's a problem. Now, I want to say that, of course, I do agree that election security is national security. I believe that we should all take that seriously, and that needs to be done on a state-by-state basis. But the reality is, prior to the last midterm elections, our federal government did a lot to strengthen election security.
That's
so we're
not true.
on the right path.
Adriana,
it's already happening.
Listen, we play this game every Saturday morning, and it's so frustrating. The bottom line is election security is a national security issue. We just heard the special prosecutor under oath say the Russians meddled into our elections to help Donald Trump. Adriana, I don't know why in the hell you cannot, and Republicans will not come to grips with the fact that this is a national security issue and it is a threat to our democracy. This is not a game. This is serious business. And if the
it's
coins
certainly
were
not
reversed,
a game, but
Adriana, no. You rambled for almost 5 minutes, and you're gonna let me finish. If the roles were reversed, you all would be driving off the Republican cliff. I understand you have to come on this program and rehearse the Republican talking points, but national security and a threat to our democracy and cyber warfare should not be a partisan issue. They did this to help Donald Trump, and what Mueller said under oath in his testimony is that they are currently doing as he sat there in that chair last week and speaking to members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans.
Adriana, I want to get your take on this. On Thursday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blocked 2 election security bills. He called it partisan legislation. And here's what former CIA Director John Brennan, who's now a MSNBC senior national security analyst, said about that. Listen to this.
I think Mitch McConnell has one primary objective, which is to get Donald Trump reelected in 2020. And we all know that the Russians helped Donald Trump get elected in 2016. So why would he want to prevent possible additional assistance to Donald Trump in the upcoming elections? Mitch McConnell from day one was always adamantly opposed to having this government be able to honestly look at what the Russians were doing and prevent that type of interference.
So, Adriana, do you know of a real legit reason why election security legislation should not be pushed forward?
Well, first of all, Democrats, one of the pieces of legislation they want to push through is going to allocate $750 new towards election security. But Mitch McConnell has pushed back on that because the feds have already allocated roughly $380 million. Much money of that has not even yet been spent. So why throw more money at a problem when we haven't even spent the money that's already available?
Adriana, do you hear what you're saying right now? You're saying...
No, I'm going to finish my point. I'm going to finish my point, Antoine.
Finish your point, please.
Yes, thank you. And I want to say that, there's this Democrat talking point that the Russians helped Donald Trump get elected. That is just not true. 63 million Americans voted for Donald Trump. And if the Russians helped Donald Trump get elected, why did Hillary Clinton get millions more votes than Donald Trump? That's number one. Number two, these fake ads. These fake ads that these Russian trolls put out, it was a massive disinformation campaign. Some of it was pro-Trump, some of it was anti-Trump, some of it was pro-Hillary. They made fake ads about Black Lives Matter. So it was a big cesspool of disinformation. It wasn't singularly to support Donald Trump.
Adriana, it's very obvious that you are drunk off the Kool-Aid this morning. The special prosecutor, they just played the clip for us, said the Russians meddled into our elections to help Donald Trump. They sowed discourse or misinformation to help Donald Trump. He said it under oath. We've had Democrats and Republicans, minus you, agree on the fact that this is the case. And your point earlier about throwing more money. Look, we should put unlimited resources into protecting our democracy, the most sacred thing we have in our democracy, and that is our right to vote. If they can influence our elections, God knows what else the Russians will be able to do in order to absolutely hinder the United States. And the fact of the matter is, you are very few of the Republicans I know who will come on a national TV program and dismiss the fact of what is going on in this country.
Okay,
what I do know is that I need to respond to that, Jolene, just quickly. Here in Massachusetts, we've never been hacked. Our voter rolls have never been hacked because the majority of voter rolls nationwide are offline. You can't hack a system that isn't tethered to the internet. We have protected our voter registration rolls. And so a lot is being done to secure our election system. So please don't tell me that I don't care about election security.
Just 1 second. It's only 6:48 in the morning, guys. Let's take a deep breath. Adriana, finish your point, and I'll get to you, Antoine.
Thank you, Jolie. Here in Massachusetts, our voter election system has never been hacked. Our Secretary of State is doing a really good job. Our voter registration, our election system is done offline, like most states are. So yes, there are things that the DHS and the FBI are doing to further strengthen our system. That should continue to be done. And one point I do agree with you, Antoine, is it should be a bipartisan effort. But the reason why Mitch McConnell has pushed back is you can't sign legislation that isn't bipartisan. Right now, there's only one GOP vote, and if you don't have the votes, why bring it to the floor?
Adriana,
last word, please.
You are wrong as two left shoes. Let me just say that. Number two, I will tell you that if you read the report and if you paid attention to the bipartisan group of legislators who looked at what happened in 2016 from an investigative standpoint, they would tell you that there were targeted efforts in battleground states to help Donald Trump win an election. I'm not sure if you just ignoring the point or you just don't want to acknowledge the point that there were targeted efforts by the Russians in specific states to help Donald Trump win this election.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt this spirited debate, but we got to go. Antoine Seawright, Adriana Cohen, always bringing the heat.
This is crazy as hell. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having me.